Am I wrong for not wanting to be stay-at-home mom and find a job instead? My husband's father passed away recently. He grew up on a large farm in Kansas, and him and his mother inherited the farm. My husband, John, 24, and I, 21, met while he was living in New Orleans, attending Tulane on athletic scholarship, and I was working as a waitress. We fell in love and he proposed quickly. We married a few months ago, and I am currently 3 months pregnant. We've been living in New Orleans, but since his father's passing, his mother needs help with the farm and he suggested we move there, and it will be better for the child to be raised on the farm anyway. I didn't really want to do that, but I agreed as I knew how much it meant to him. When we got there, I was surprised how big and isolated the farm was. My husband and I share one car and his mother has another. I asked to take the car the other day to go to town to look for jobs, but he sat me down and told me it wouldn't be very practical for me to have a job at the moment because we only have 2 cars for 3 people and they can't spare one for me to take for 8 hours a day, and they can't drive me to and from work when there's so much to be done on the farm. I wasn't very happy about that, but it made sense. So I looked for some jobs online, and when we were eating dinner, I started the subject again, saying that I think I will look for some work from home jobs, but I will need stable internet connection, and asked if there's any way we can change providers, as it's a bit slow. He told me all work from home jobs are scam and he doesn't want me falling into a trap, and that he needs the laptop available at all times to communicate with his customers. I was devastated but didn't want to argue, and I understand that his work is currently supporting us all, including his mother. We had a small family gathering and his sister and sister-in-law asked me why I didn't want to be stay-at-home mom. I explained them everything. And they told me I should think of my family first, that all kids in this family are raised by stay-at-home mom and I should just go with it and everyone will be happier. I said that I would get bored and I need a job to help supporting us, but they kept telling me that I should listen to my husband. When everyone left, John came to our bedroom and we had our first massive argument. He told me I embarrassed him in front of his family. He told me he can't believe how heartless I am being and that I clearly don't care enough for our baby to stay home and raise him. He called me an and told me it's best if I slept in guest room for a few nights. He hasn't spoken to me since, and his mother told me I hurt him and all of them by refusing to carry on family tradition of being a stay-at-home mom, and that I am bringing shame to him, showing that he can't support his family. And I am torn. I thought I knew what I wanted, but everyone is telling me otherwise and my head is a mess. Am I really the for wanting to find a job? Is it really that wrong of me? I thought I was right, but now, I am doubting myself. Am I wrong for calling off my son's camping trip after he ruined a painting that I drew for my wife? I, 39-year-old male, married my wife, 36, 4 months ago. I have a son named Elijah, age 16. He and my wife had this tension between that started right after she moved in with us. He complains about how she enters his room all the time and invading his privacy and touching his stuff, but my wife says she's just cleaning it for him. He also complains from being forced to eat what she cooks, but my wife says she's just trying to get him to step away from unhealthy fast food and snacks and get used to healthy homemade meals. The fighting became constant even before the wedding. Then at the wedding, he complained about being excluded from pictures and food he wanted to have, but my wife said she had nothing to do with it and that Elijah was looking for something to hold over her head. Now, since we're in summer break and he has plenty of free time, I'd signed him up for a 2-week camping trip and paid for everything. He was supposed to go next week, but a couple of days ago, something happened. It was my wife's birthday. As a gift, I drew a painting for her and gave it to her during dinner. Elijah started laughing for no reason, which made my wife annoyed. She told him he wasn't allowed to watch a movie later that night and sent him to his room. He wasn't happy, he threw a temper tantrum and said he didn't do anything to deserve a punishment. Then in the morning, my wife woke me up yelling, saying the painting I gave her was destroyed with car oil. She kept saying, "Elijah did it." I had him come out of his room and he admitted that he ruined it to get back at her for punishing him the night before. I lost my temper with him, then punished him by canceling his trip and taking the money back. He threw another tantrum, saying he had to do it after she punished him for no reason and that it wasn't fair since I promised, but I said it was final. He started crying and called his aunt as a way to pressure me into backing out of my decision, but I refused. Am I wrong for leaving a bad review on a small store? So my boyfriend and I have a tradition for our anniversary that we each go to a store in separate, and after we buy each other gifts, we exchange in the car. It's silly and cute. We walked into this new mom and pop anime store. I am a huge anime nerd, and my boyfriend likes video games, which they also sell. We separate and I go look at stuff for my boyfriend. A worker walks up to me and starts chatting, then points at my leg. I have a pretty big tattoo of Kakashi from Naruto on my thigh, among other anime tattoos. He asks if I got that for my boyfriend and I said no, I've always loved Naruto, and then showed him my other tattoos, which included the Leaf Village symbol, Gaara of the Sans Gourd, and a piece on my arm of Asuma Sarutobi. He started quizzing me on the lore of the anime, and I told him I wouldn't have spent $1,000 on tattoos of an anime I didn't know about, and I didn't appreciate him trying to catch me in a gotcha moment. He told me he didn't believe a girl could ever fully understand the real story of Naruto and the depth behind it, lol. I told him I didn't need his services and he can go back to the front desk. He told me I was a rude wannabe bitch and walked into the back, and I continued purchasing my items. I left a review later, TLDR, if you're feminine presenting enter with caution, one of the employees will call you a bitch when you don't want to prove your nerd cred to him. The owner left a comment on my review asking for an email conversation and asked that I take down my review because people have started complaining about this employee as well and his sale revenue has dropped. I told him I wouldn't, and maybe he shouldn't hire misogynists if he doesn't want bad reviews. My friends tell me I'm overreacting. Am I the AH?